in someone else's shoes. We all have our own road to travel on. There is gray in almost.
Hi, I am Steve Anderson. Welcome to Apologia. Apologia is a website consisting of recorded conversations with many of my Facebook friends. I am very fortunate to have so many talented, diverse, and intelligent friends on Facebook. Today, I am speaking with Cory Young. Cory is 42 years old. He is a singer-songwriter, has a wife with 2 children. They just happen to be my daughter Jessica and my grandchildren Colby and Peyton, which I got to see a few minutes ago, and then they went shopping. So anyhow, welcome, son-in-law.
It's good.
How you doing?
I'm good. Good. I'm tired. We had a long day hiking today.
Yeah, I'm tired too. Of course, you know, I had back surgery, and this recovery thing has been just fantastic, and I really have no complaints. Janice has just been just wonderful, you know, nursing me and taking care of me. But I notice I tire a little bit if I'm walking a lot, so I may have overdone myself today. So anyhow, so I feel kind of tired myself. But anyhow, I'm glad to be able to speak with you. Where would you like to start? I wonder if you could start a little bit with the songwriting and the singing, how this all kind of came together for you.
Well, it actually started back, like you had said, I'm 42. So most of this started back around the time I was about 15 years old. I was training horses and breaking horses out at a horse farm in Michigan. And I just kind of always been into music and always singing, you know, along with the radio and like everyone else. And a lady at the barn heard me sing one day, and she said, "Hey, you should come up to this bar and sing." And at the time I was 17, so we had to wait just a few more months till I turned 18. And I went up there and sang with a band for the first time, and the bar was Lucille's in Canton, Michigan. And that turned into like a weekly thing. And they had a singing contest up there, and, you know, I'd win 3 out of 4 times, and I'd win $100 a week doing that, just, you know, for fun.
Sure.
And I was actually, I believe, trying to think of the exact year, but I was 19 years old, and Kenny Chesney and Toby Keith, I believe, were at the Monroe County Fair. And I was working at a car dealership, and the person who worked there did the kind of all the announcing and stuff. And long story short, I met Kenny Chesney on his bus for about 5 minutes, and that meeting was enough that 2 weeks later I packed up my car and I moved to Nashville. And so that's started. Yeah. So from there, and so from there, I was doing most of the singing thing, and I kind of fell into a place called the Broken Spoke Saloon, and it was all songwriters. And I kind of intrigued me, you know, that aspect of it, because I'd always just relied on someone else's songs.
Sure.
And I started writing, and it was absolutely terrible. And it was Debbie Champion was the person who hosted that night, and she did the best thing anyone could ever do for me. I went in and did one of her writer's nights, and it was very early on. It was one of the first few songs that I wrote, and I played. I got in the open mic at the end of the night, and then I hounded her, and I said, "Hey, what'd you think? What'd you think?" And she kept telling me and warning. Looking back, obviously she was warning me not to ask unless I really wanted to know. And finally, she turned around and she goes, "Look, where are you from?" She goes, "Look, kid, where are you from?" And I said, "I'm from Michigan." She goes, "I'll tell you what you'd want to do. You need to go home, just leave. Just go home, write about 100 songs. And when you get done, burn them, and then come back and try again."
That sounds like wise.
It was. And for some people that would probably crush them, and for me it just pissed me off. So I went home and spent about 3 weeks sitting in front of the TV watching CMT and learning some different, you know, chords and really working on that. And I wrote a couple songs, and I went back and I did her writer's night, and I got booked. So, you know, sometimes when people kind of anger you, you can channel that anger into something, and that's something I've always kind of been good at, either adversity or people just slamming a door in my face. It actually gives me what I need to get to the next thing. And so she did that, and that kind of started that whole thing. Now from there, you know, we were in Nashville for a long time, and then of course I went back to Michigan to do some shows, and I met a flight attendant in a bar in Michigan. And
it wouldn't be the Diamondback, would it?
it was, yeah. You happen to know this flight attendant pretty well because you raised her, but
yes.
So I think it
That's
was our sixth date was our wedding in Nashville, and
yes.
so long story short, you know, I did a lot of stuff in Nashville for a lot of years, and I just never was getting anywhere. And the last couple of years we were there before we moved back to Michigan, were just, you know, I was working at a car dealership, and I wasn't doing any music. So Jess was pregnant with Peyton, and we made the decision to go home for a couple of years. Of course, a couple of years turned into a lot more when I got sick and, you know, got cancer and went through treatment. And
yeah, you sure did. That was quite a time for you.
Just the best thing that ever happened to me. That I credit that solely with giving me my life. Because if you look at my life pre-cancer and who I was compared to who I am now post-cancer, it's two different people, and I'm super thankful for that. So I chose to turn it into something positive. You know, I stayed in paramedic school even though I kept getting sicker and sicker, and I kept responding to calls on the fire department, and I kept showing the kids, you know, that it doesn't matter, that you just keep fighting. So I'm glad it turned out the way it did.
Absolutely.
But
yeah, things did work out. So these conversations, unfortunately, I'm trying to keep them down to, which is almost impossible.
Oh, yeah. We can fast forward.
To about 15 minutes. And it's so, because I could talk to you for, you know, I could obviously talk to you for hours.
Yeah.
Because we both kind of have this gift of being able to communicate with all different kinds of people. So we have that gift. But
that being said,
that, we need to.
I'm
going to try to tighten it up a little bit. I'm going to fast forward here a minute and let you have something. I didn't want to interrupt.
No, yeah, I can fast forward. We can definitely skip a couple of years pretty quick here.
Okay. So all this country music, which was the direction, and that was kind of coming from your soul, so to speak. It was the kind of genre that kind of made your boat float. Is that fair to say?
It is, and it's still, you know, I listen to a lot of music. I mean, I love reggae. I listen to a lot of different kind of music, but country music always, or just that country Americana sound, kind of always, to me, it's just real. It's not songs just about being happy. It's songs about real life, and that's what I like to write, and that's what I like to listen to. You know, and I think that's why. So that led me back to Nashville, though. If we want to get really quick, get back to that. So after I was not sick anymore, we moved back to Nashville, and I did that for a couple of years, and I just found country music to not be country music anymore. It was some kind of, they call it bro country, and it's just, you know, it's got kind of a little hip hop beat in the background, and it's a lot of it sounds the same. And so we took a vacation to the Keys, and we liked it so much that we decided to sell everything we owned and buy a boat. So we had a 5-year plan to move to the Keys on a boat, which was 14 months later. We moved on a boat, and I walked away from music. I left Nashville and walked away from music. And then, funny enough...
Not to interrupt here.
Yeah.
Enter trop rock, correct?
Yeah.
This is the, you know,
era.
The genesis, if you will, of the trop rock for you. Is that fair?
Yeah, no, it is. And so I didn't do any music for like the first year we were there. I picked up a guitar. Then I was playing, you know, 5 nights a week. And then I wrote an album, and I called my friend back in Nashville, Aaron, and he helped me produce it. And after I made it, people kept telling me that this trop rock album is really good. And I'm like, I don't even know what this trop rock thing is. And I just kind of got sucked into this world of, it's almost the genre of misfit musicians. But on the same token, like Mac McAnally, who I just met at the TRMA Award Show, the Trop Rock Music Award Show in Key West. Mac McAnally just tonight won the Country Music Association Musician of the Year. So I mean, we're in very good company in Trop Rock. It's not just misfits, but a lot of us write songs that don't quite fit in with any particular genre. A lot of it's about the beach. I call it escapism. It's the kind of music you listen to going to work on Monday morning, and for 3.5 minutes you're not going to work. That's the kind of music I try to write, and that's kind of what Trop Rock is. Trop Rock is escapism. It's everything from tropical music and calypso music to some. I don't really know anybody doing rock, but it's kind of an Americana. It's just a really good blend of music that just makes you feel, takes you away. So. Yeah. And I've been fortunate.
Well, is it party music? Because that's kind of the sense I get. People are kind of laid back. The temperature's like 87 degrees.
Perfect.
You got babes on the beach. You got a Mai Tai going on.
Yes.
And it's chill time. And yet party time sometimes.
And, a lot of it kind of fair. I think what makes it a party thing more than anything, and what makes Trop Rock unique from every other genre of music, is that we're directly tied with philanthropy through Parrot Heads. And Parrot Heads are kind of a Jimmy Buffett. They started as a Jimmy Buffett fan club. However, it's quickly morphing into kind of, instead of following one person, kind of now following all of these new artists. And I've been fortunate enough that going into this thing, the crowds are getting bigger, the shows are getting bigger. And this year, as a matter of fact, I had the most requested song on station called Radio Trop Rock. They're the largest broadcaster, and Kenny Chesney was like number 4 or 5, and I was number 1.
Very cool. That's awesome.
And so I won Album of the Year. I won the Horizon Award. So it's just been it's a cool genre, and I'm in very good company. My Album of the Year actually beat a guy who has Florida. You won't know who they are, but Florida Georgia Line on his album, and he actually wrote the #1 charting song in the history of country music, and my album actually beat his, which
really, well, congratulations.
Yeah, well,
that's awesome, man.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. So anyway, so that's Trop Rock. Trop Rock is just a really feel good, happy. A lot of it's about the beach, but it's just about it makes you feel good. So
well, I've listened to your albums. I do happen to like Trop Rock music. As you may know, I've never been a big fan of country.
Sure.
I did like some of the classics, but for the most part, it just didn't do anything for me. But Trop Rock is, to me, it's a different. It really is a different genre, and it's something that I can appreciate. Which kind of brings us to your new album.
Yes.
When will that be released?
Officially, I'm going to ship. I did a crowdfunding for this album, and we did very well, and we exceeded the crowdfunding goal. And so I'm shipping out all those. It was just under 100 people that pre-ordered and participated in the crowdfunding. I'm shipping those out on December 15th. So the album's officially released on December 15th. However, the only place to buy an album is going to be from one of my shows or me, an actual physical copy of the album.
Okay.
And I don't really have my first big show until March. I have a very large show in Tampa at March, and after that, I will then put it online. So the reward for people that contributed to the campaign was getting the album months before the general public will get it.
Great.
So, yeah.
Well, I know Jan put in her orders, so I know we're good to go. So we're covered.
You probably would have got one anyway, but thank you.
Well, last thing, we're running really tight on time, but the intro song to our conversation, and at the ending, also part of that song, is from your new album, Walk with No Shoes.
Yeah.
I really like the song. I like the sentiment behind it. I like the philosophical underpinnings. There's a lot there. Some of it blatant, some of it perhaps a little more nuanced. But I love the song. Can you give us a little explanation of what that song means to you?
Absolutely.
And then at that point, we're going to...
Yeah. No, I'll use the condensed version. So the song came from a really a unique experience. As a trop rock artist, I've really forced people to talk about things. And one of the things that's extremely important to me is cannabis. And as a first responder, a former first responder, and a person who kind of suffered with some sleep issues and some other issues after doing that and after being sick, cannabis has turned my life around. And so I've forced people to start talking about it through my music, and that kind of generated some complaints. And I had a choice when I got those complaints. I was writing for an album, and the worst thing you can do is piss off the songwriter. So I channeled that into something positive instead. And I was on a phone conversation, and somebody said, well, you've got to, until you walk a mile in their shoes, you won't understand. And at that point I stopped them and I said, how about if we all just stop trying to walk a mile in someone else's shoes and just stop wearing them and just stop having judgments?
Exactly.
And so my gentle correction or retaliation for the complaints and the people that spoke up about me talking about cannabis was to write this song, Walk With No Shoes. And being able to create something out of nothing and write something, not just in spoken word, but in something that will mean something to other people and kind of carry on in music, is just one of the most powerful things. And I am now getting to the point with where I am in this trop rock genre and music in general, where people are listening, and this song gave me a really good, opportunity to kind of make people stop and think. It just stop being so judgmental. And so that's
great. I think that's fantastic. Matter of fact, instead of just having a shortcut at the end, I think maybe we'll just play the whole song after our interview is over, or conversation. I don't want to call it an interview. I like conversation. It sounds so much better. But I want to thank you so much for taking the time out, and I'm very proud of you for all the transitions. You got a wonderful family, you have a music career, you just got a lot of stuff going for yourself. You're a very intelligent, thoughtful person, and I'm just proud to have you as a son-in-law. And I want to thank you again for taking the time out. And I'm not going to see you for Thanksgiving.
I know.
But you and the family have a happy Thanksgiving.
We will. You guys too. And it's always nice talking to you. We need to do this more. Maybe not this, but
we'll do this again.
All right.
Hey, that sounds good.
All right.
Right. Take care, Cory.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Everything. Don't waste time walking in someone else's shoes. We all have our own road to travel on. There is gray in almost everything. Careful the glass throne you sit upon. If you smoke, then smoke. If you drink, drink away. It doesn't matter what people say. You've got to live your life your own way. If it don't hurt nobody, then what's it to you anyway? You never know what someone's been through. Instead of trying to walk inside them, try and walk with no shoes. I'll stop by after 4, that's my favorite time. I won't be drinking, but I'll say hi. You've got your vice, and I've got mine. I'll take my flower, enjoy your wine. If you smoke, then smoke. If you drink, drink away. It doesn't matter what people say. You've got to live your life your own way. If it don't hurt nobody, then what's it to you anyway? You never know what someone's been through. Instead of trying to walk inside them, oh, try and walk with no shoes. If you smoke, then smoke. If you drink, drink away. It doesn't matter what people say. You've got to live your life your own way. If it don't hurt nobody, then what's it to you anyway? You never know what someone's been through. Instead of trying to walk inside them,